So Thad, I just sent you over you got it. Okay, awesome. Thanks,
Okay,
buddy.
good. What can you guys see right now? Can you see the website or just a bunch of mountains, desert?
I see the sand dunes with the
All right,
mountains
let me
behind it.
move. All right, there we go. That should be better.
Yep. Can you make it a little bit bigger?
Yep. Oh yeah, I got a big old 32-inch screen here.
Oh, bigger for us, not for you.
I know. Well, yeah, yeah. But
Awesome.
I did a presentation one time, and in the entire time, all they saw was my left screen, not my right screen. So all they saw was the sand dunes. And towards the end of it, they're all, "Are you trying to show us something? Because we don't see it." uh, I love it when the tech guy screws up in techie stuff. But anyway, so basically, in a nutshell, and I'll try to do this as quickly as possible and not be too salesy, but
Okay.
we do Facebook leads for final expense specifically. We are a marketing agency. We're not an insurance agency. Although I've been licensed since 1996, I don't have an active license anymore. The reason I don't is simply because of conflict of interest, I guess is the best way I can put that. So we are an actual ad agency. We have Facebook account managers for each person that orders and so on and so on and so on, which I'll get more into. And the reason I pulled this screenshot up real quick, because we're going to touch on this a little bit in a minute. It's called our AI technology, which is artificial intelligence. And in a nutshell, what it does is when someone goes onto Google or their Facebook page and they type in something that has to do with our predetermined keywords, which would be things like funerals, final expense, burial insurance, life insurance, funeral director, things like that. It'll then we will then mine that data. It's called data mining, and we will target them with specific ads that are based on the keywords that they use. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes. Jimmy, can you
Okay,
hear
good.
that?
I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure because it got quiet on my end, which means you guys either muted everyone else, which means it got super quiet. I was like, my headset working. So the
Oh,
reason I wanted to pull this up is this.
everyone's muted, Thad.
Cool. No, that's good. Okay, so what it does is we do data mining. Is one of the big things that we do with the artificial intelligence or the AI technology, and it takes up keywords that are predetermined by us and by the algorithms of Facebook that we've decided work well with final expense. So not only are we targeting people that are within the final expense demographic, we're targeting people that have life events, which is more important than actually targeting somebody who's 62 years old, low income, and they see an ad and go, yeah, I should probably do something about this. This is even more forceful, or not forceful, but the quality is just a little bit better. So I'm going to throw that off to the side because we're going to hit that in a minute. So the website is Osfelice Marketing. Don't ask where the name came from. I wanted something weird, so I wanted something that sounded cool. I don't believe names do much for a company unless you're Google or Apple or something like that, but I wanted something different. And Osfelice stands for safe in marketing in Greek. So I just wanted to be something different. What I want to do real quick is I just want to scroll down to this part where it says Facebook marketing is the future. A lot of people don't know this, but Facebook and the internet is the future. There's no way around it. As much as the old way of direct mail is still king, the reason it's king isn't because the language on the direct mail piece is great, because the language on the direct mail piece we've all seen is simply just regular language. It's also a form that looks like a government form. So we all know what it is and we're okay with it. It works great. But the reason it's king is because you can walk up to a home, show them their signature, you door knock it, and you're good to go. With Facebook leads, a lot of people were scared that they couldn't do that. Well, the closing ratio went up quite a bit when agents started to treat these leads just like direct mail. And they would literally just go to the person's home and go, hey, you contacted me on Facebook. And the reason door knocking for our leads works better than others, I'll get into in just a moment. So there's about 70 million people monthly on Facebook, which we all know Facebook's huge. But the big thing is, what about our demographic? The biggest question I get is our demographic, people we sell final expense to, on Facebook? And the answer is yes. Overwhelmingly, there's 22 million people in the United States that are within the FE demographic. What's that demographic? 50 and above, middle to low income, things like that. Okay, the people we would actually do a direct mail to. The difference between what we do and direct mail is direct mail, we literally are mailing to 30,000 and below people, generally speaking. Telemarketing, we are calling the people that answer the phone. They're not on the do not call list, which means they're the people that'll respond to anything. And B, it's the same thing, the lowest income type person. There's nothing wrong with that. That is our demographic. But with Facebook, we don't target people based on income, based on assets, based on liquid assets. We target them based on being a final expense person who may want to buy the program, is the best way I can put that, or the plan. And how do we determine that? It's all about data mining. I could get into the analytics of it, but it's keywords and things like that that are on their Facebook page. It's things that they've liked on their Facebook page. It's things that they look at in Google and so forth. Now, we're still targeting 50 to 76. When someone comes to us, we can also adjust that too. But we look at on a regular basis right here, it's called the CTR percentage and the relevant score, which is very important with Facebook. Our job as an ad agency is to maximize your campaign so you get the most results. The highest return in the sense of quantity, but also the highest return in quality. We believe that both is the most important thing. And the reason being is we want you to order again. We're not a lead vendor in the sense of, throw some leads at you, make a couple bucks, and we're going to then try to recruit you. We don't do that. We're an ad agency, and my renewal is you ordering on a regular basis. And the only way to get you to renew for me is to have good quantity and good quality, both in the same. So because Facebook doesn't allow us or any Facebook marketer out there to target people based on income, we had to do it in different ways. I don't want to get into that because it's part of our AI technology and a part of what we do, but it does work. The average close ratio for one of the big IMOs that we work with is 22%. The average monthly premium is $68. Now, that is slightly higher than direct mail, and so is the monthly $68 per month. The reason being is with Facebook, you get about 60% of the people you see are a little bit higher value client than a typical final expense person. The other 40% is the normal final expense person. Now, that ratio could be a little bit different depending on your area. Versus, as most of you may know, when it comes to direct mail or telemarketing, that's usually flip-flopped, or it's 80-20, if you will, the old 80-20. 80% of the people I see are typical final expense people. You're sitting in cat pee sometimes. 20% of the people we see are actually the good value person. You're going, God, I wish all my customers were like this. We're able to flip that a little bit simply because we've got a person we know that has a phone. They have the internet on their phone, or they have actual cell service on their phone. They're not just using Wi-Fi. They have a tablet that they responded on, and they also have a tablet that has a updated OS, which is important because now you're dealing with somebody that's just, again, a little bit higher value person. That's, in a nutshell, that's kind of the targeting. If you go to the website, I got a bunch of videos that explain a lot of this in more detail in a video. You can go on here and look at some of our reviews if you want, and other closing ratio, a bunch of other screenshots that show proof of what we do. And then we also have, what do Facebook ads actually say? Everyone asks me, what's the ad say? I need to know what the ad says. Well, we run, depending on the person or the area is the biggest thing. We have to look at the data first, and we will run up to 250 personalized ads for you as the individual agent in that area. And it's all personalized. What I mean by personalized is when the person sees an ad, it's very similar to the one here that you can't actually see, and they click on it, they go to a landing page. That landing page is specific to you, the agent, and it will then say, please give us your first name, last name, your address, your phone number, the email address is on there, the time and date stamp of when they responded, and their basic information. And then when they hit submit, they go to that thank you page that says, thank you, John Smith will contact you within 40 hours from, which would be your phone number. So they see your name and your phone number on the thank you page. Then instantaneously, they get an email that says the exact same thing. Thank you, John Smith will contact within 48 hours from this phone number. And then also instantly, they will get a text message from us that says the exact same thing. So we make sure that it's personalized for a couple of different reasons. We found it does one of two things. One of them being it's like a subliminal message that says when their phone rings and they see your phone number, they're going to do one of two things: not answer it because they don't know who you are, or they're going to go, that phone number looks familiar to me. I think I should answer it. And I think we've all done this. We've seen a phone number. We don't know who it is, but we answer it. And then we realize it's the telemarketer who's called us 100 times, and that's how we recognize the phone number. But the subliminal message is, I think I know who this is. And then when you say, hi, I'm John Smith, they go, oh, you're the guy that's supposed to blah, blah, blah. The other thing that our leads do that you're not going to get from direct mail, from telemarketing, or any other Facebook leads out there is our leads, they're actually going to call you. We've had numerous stories of leads calling the agent going, one in particular was the guy, literally his first lead, which was unheard of, but we got to tell this story, is the client called him up and said, I don't want any sales pitch. I don't want anybody coming to my home. I just want to know how much $8,000 is. And he goes, okay. And then she was this older, tough lady type person. And we all know who these people are. He goes, all right. And he told her the price, and she bought over the phone just like that. You don't get that from any other type of lead because, one, it's not available. We make it available. Now on our recurring orders, which I'll go over because we have a couple different programs. On the recurring order, we do something a little bit different, which is we text message not only the client immediately, but we also text message them 10 days later to remind them that they should have already heard from you. And if not, here's your phone number. The reason we do that is it just keeps the leads hot or warm, if you will. Now, the other reason we do this is because Facebook leads are known for being difficult to get a hold of. And this is the one thing that everyone needs to try to overcome if they can get to that point. The reason they're harder to get a hold of is and I have a video on here, these are actually real people that have a life. For instance, grandma's sitting at, little Jane's ballet practice or whatever it's called, and she's going through her Facebook and she sees the ad, she replies to the ad, and she's at ballet. She's not going to answer a phone call at ballet because it's rude, and she's an older person who knows this, and she's busy. So we find the hardest thing to overcome is getting a hold of the people. Once you do, what we hear is they're lay downs in a nutshell. They know what they want. They have bank accounts. Again, generally speaking here, we're still going to get the normal final expense customer, and they will also call you. So the reason we text them is because sometimes they get so busy, they do forget they do it because they're more busy than the typical FE client who is sitting at home watching Oprah, if it was still on, and filling out a bunch of direct mail forms and listening to telemarketing calls. So just a little bit different client. And that's something you're going to have to overcome with getting a hold of them. There's actually a review somewhere where one of the guys was not very happy with the service because he couldn't get a hold of anybody. He was on our 4-week program, and he finally realized he needed to contact the clients a little bit more and also direct mail them. So once he started calling them a little bit more, he got a hold of the people from 3 weeks ago because he didn't expect that 3 weeks later the leads would still be good. So he started getting a hold of people from 3 weeks earlier, started making sales, and the guy was like, okay, I'm ready to reorder now. He actually canceled his order and said, I'm done. I can't get a hold of these people, and if I can't get a hold of them, I can't make money. He finally figured out he just needed to keep moving forward. He's also in Sacramento, California, which is a very difficult place for any type of leads. So I want to talk real quick about the AI technology. I don't have it here on the website. It's on a different video on our YouTube platform. But the AI technology is something we brought into the company about 2 weeks ago. What it does in a nutshell is it mines data so that when somebody, which I mentioned earlier, goes on to Google, Bing, Yahoo, whatever it may be, and they start typing in keywords that are specific to final expense. It's almost the same idea, or actually we piggyback this off of people looking to buy Teslas. Generally speaking, if someone's looking to buy a Tesla, one of the big things is they type into Google electric cars, how to save money on gas, things like that. In final expense, it's the same idea. If they start looking at funeral homes, estate planning, wills, anything that has to do in a, sixth degree of Kevin Costner or whatever that is, that same idea, we grab that person or their data, if you will, and we start shooting them Facebook ads on a predetermined time, if you will. So they're getting these drips of these ads, and they're just us because, again, we're running 250 ads. So they're seeing different variations of the ads, different videos, different faces of the ads, different language in the ad. But the language is exactly what they said. If someone says burial insurance, the ad we send them will say burial insurance. If somebody says final expense plan, we'll shoot them an ad that says final expense plan, word for word, so that we're just getting even more value, or should I say quality, in the leads. Now, I do want to point out, no matter how great this technology is, if you're ordering one time, which is $300, and you're guaranteed a minimum of 15 leads, even though we may guarantee a minimum of 15 leads. Our average agent gets 18 to 23 leads. We don't cap you. We get you as many leads as we can possibly get you. We do everything we can to get you as many leads, but also without dropping the quality. So you have to think about this for a second. If you're only getting 15, let's say 20 leads for the easy math sake, how many people in that 4 to 6 days that it took us to get you those leads are actually doing this? It is a small percentage, but it does happen, and it is a good thing. So not only do we have our regular platform, but we also have the 1 or 2 people here or there that actually is searching for final expense or burial insurance. We also have their Facebook page based on the data that we've mined over the last couple of years, that if they go on their Facebook page and they post anything that has to do with a funeral or someone passing away or liking a specific page, if they like Gerber, we post an ad to them. If they like Mutual of Omaha or AARP or some sort of final expense company, we send an ad to them. And it doesn't have to be like, I don't represent those companies, but most of the agents do. If they type in Lincoln Heritage, we send them even more ads. So we know what to do based on a couple things. I've been in the final expense business for a long time myself. I used to own a big, huge telesales operation here in Roseville, California. So I know what it takes to not only do the sales end of it, which is your end, but also the marketing ad agency side of it. So we kind of put it together and we said, let's do one thing, let's do it really well. So on the ordering, so we have several different programs, or should I say really just 3, is you have the one-time order. It's $300. The minimum guarantee is 15 leads. Again, we don't cap you. The average is about 18 to 23. If you get 34 leads, you get 34 leads. We're not charging you extra. It just is what it is. We're going to personalize everything specific to you, which I went over. The big key here is we need the full name of the person calling the leads. If you have an appointment setter, just give us that name. If the appointment setter has a specific phone number, give us that name, or if it's yours, that's fine too. Oh, I missed one thing. We also, if you want to, and you have to let us know ahead of time, we will text you the lead's information. Now, we're only going to text you their first and last name and their telephone number so that on the fly, when you get a text, that means they just responded literally that second. So you get a text, you literally could turn around and call them the second they responded to help with contact rate. Now, if they respond at 2 a.m., I don't know if that's the right time to call them, but you get my point. If you're sitting there at McDonald's in the area that you're getting leads at and you get a text message with a lead, you literally could turn around, click it, call them, and see them that minute. It could happen just because the opportunity is there. So we want the email address of the leads you want the leads to go to, the state and city you want to work. We don't do zip codes. We don't do counties. The reason we don't do it is because Facebook doesn't allow us to do it. So if you give us a county, we're just going to take a city within that county and we're going to draw a little radius around it. And the radius is up to 50 miles. I don't want anybody to freak out on that, but generally speaking, we only use 10 to 25 miles. As an agent, I don't want to drive far from my home either if I don't have to. But I also know in my area that I have to drive an hour to go to the area where people are to actually sell to. So keep in mind when you're doing this, if you're in, I think I got a guy somewhere in Utah that he's so close to the border, even with a 50-mile radius, there's only like 1,500 people available for us as an audience. Well, even with direct mail, if you mail those 1,500 people over and over and over again, you're only going to get so many leads. And over time, you're going to get less and less. So we also have to think together as your ad agency. We'll go to you and go, look, let's figure out a better way to do this to get you leads on a regular basis. I will tell you that generally speaking, it's not a problem. We really don't have issues unless you're in a super rural area, which you know if you are, or a super tough area, and you should know if you are because you've been doing this a while. But we use up to a 50-mile radius. We start out at 0. So if you give me Chicago, I'm not going to do a 10-mile radius around Chicago because I don't need to. I will start at the city, and then I will expand it based on what is needed, based on our predetermined algorithms, how much the audience is needed to actually get you the amount of leads we want to get you, and also the best quality. So keep that in mind. So even if you give us zip codes, we're still going to pull a city. Best thing to do is just give us a city. So that's on the $300 plan, minimum guarantee 15. We have a 4-week billing program, which is what we want everyone to go on for obvious reasons. You're going to get leads every day, 7 days a week for 4 weeks straight, or should I say 28 to 32 days. It's all based on the budget. And let me go back up here real quick. On this order here, the $300 one time, you'll start receiving leads with all of our plans in about 24 hours. You will get a phone call and an email from your account manager, the Facebook account manager, who will go over everything with you, make sure you understand it, make sure we didn't miss anything, make sure we didn't screw up on anything. And then you'll get finished, meaning you'll get all your leads in about 4 to 6 business days. On the 4-week billing program, same process. The difference is you're going to get leads every single day for 28 to 32 days. The reason it's 28 to 32 days is because it's based on a budget. It's not exactly 4 weeks. It could be a little less, could be a little bit more. But with this plan, we're guaranteeing a minimum of 20 leads. Now, the reason the guarantee goes up on this, and here's how this works for this type of plan. You got to think of this as marketing. Don't just look at this as a cost per lead. Think of it almost as radio or TV, where the results get better over time. So your first week, you might only get 18 leads. Your next week, you might get 24, 25. The next week, you might get 28, 29, and so on. It goes up because on a 4-week plan, we have the AI technology really can kick in now. The reason it can kick in is because it can change the algorithms of your campaign in real time. So if we need to change the ads, if we need to change anything or add to it, the AI technology does that for us instantaneously to make sure we're maximizing your results. So over time, your ads get better, and they also cost less. The reason they cost less, which means you get more leads, is because we pay attention to the Facebook algorithms. There's a CTR percentage, and there's also a relevance score that's very important with the pricing of Facebook leads. The better our ads get, the CTR percentage goes up, the relevance score goes up, and Facebook says, we're now going to start charging you less for these leads because you're doing a really good job. And it simply just means Facebook is making more money off of our good job versus they are somebody who isn't doing a good job. If that makes sense, there's a lot more to it, but in a nutshell, the longer you're on the plan, the better for everyone because we can actually work with it. On a one-time order, you're still going to do fine. It's not like it's going to be terrible. You're just not going to get the same exact results as you would get from the 4-week plan. Simply, hopefully what I explained makes enough sense to understand. You know, there's algorithms involved with Facebook. There's a lot of data mining involved. There's a lot of analytics involved that go into long-term planning with Facebook. So that's the $300 per week. You're going to, if you order today at 8:59 Pacific Standard Time, every Friday at 8:59 Pacific Standard Time, you're going to get billed for the next 4 weeks. Okay, and we're just going to keep running your plan, and it won't stop unless you tell us to. The other plan that we have is exactly like the one above. It's $450 per week, but your minimum guarantee is 30 clients or 30 customers or 30 leads, however you want to look at that. It's simply just for guys that just want more leads. And I think in a nutshell, that's it. What you will do, though, is when you go onto the website and order or go through the videos, and once you're ready to order, you're going to scroll all the way down to this button here that says send campaign details. Those are all the details that we went over above, which is your name, the phone number, the email address, and the city you want to work out of. So you need to make sure that you do that so we know where to put you. Let me see if there's anything else off the top of my head. You will get the leads, which I said, you'll get them in real time via email. They'll be sent to you, and you'll get all the client's information. Text message if you choose. You will also get a Google Sheets backup of every lead you've ever purchased from us. If you have an appointment set, those work really great because they can work off of those, the Google Sheet drive or the Google shared sheet. And then the client will get an email, a text message from us, and also on the thank you page, it's personalized, and they will get a reoccurring text from us every 10 days, and then we slowly drip them a little bit later if you're on the reoccurring plan. And other than that, I think that answers all the questions. So, or I think I went over everything. Like you said, it's early for me. I'm only 1 cup of coffee in.
No, that's cool, man. Do you mind if I just go over a few questions?
Go for it.
Okay, so one is if I think most people would be, at least I would be inclined to do the 4-week recurring order. That makes the most amount of sense. And then, but how does an agent renew? You just send us a reminder, hey, your campaign's ending. Do you want to renew it? How does that work?
So each week it'll just automatically bill. And then at the end of the 4 weeks, now we are changing it in the next couple weeks where it's basically going to be forever and ever, amen. And then you tell us when you want to pause it, if you're going on vacation or cancel. So it's kind of like a direct mail order. Literally with direct mail, most people, they just keep it going till they're ready to pause it, and then like they go on vacation. And we view it the same way, because obviously in sales you need people to contact. If you always have new people to contact, you're always going to do better than the guy next to you who's not doing that, and you can maximize your results. So with the current 4-week plan, we will remind you at the end of the 4 weeks, or at least between us, the account manager, and the agent themselves, we're going to remind you to reorder, because again, we want you to. It's good for everybody. So on the new plan coming up, when that happens, it'll just keep going, and then you'll let us know when you want to pause it. And then if anybody needs something paused, just let us know. We don't care. It's perfectly fine. If you go on vacation, if there's any issues whatsoever, just let us know. One of the things I wanted to bring up real quick is sometimes the information on the form, if you will, or the landing page that they fill out isn't correct. Some of that is pre-populated from Facebook. Some of it they will put in themselves. And if that happens, certainly let us know. But you also have to realize this is not a cost per lead program. So you're not theoretically, unless it's less than 15 leads. But if you get 25 leads and 1 or 2 of them have a bad phone number, that is just part of marketing. We are relying on these people to put in the correct information. So if you get an overabundance of that, come to us, let us know. We're a marketing agency. We're here to fix everything. If you have a week where you go, I don't know what happened last week, Thad, but the leads were just not as good as they were the week prior, let us know as quickly as you can if there's anything out of the ordinary, because we want to go back to your campaign and look at it. Even though we're monitoring the campaign, if there's something out of the ordinary that we can't see, we have to dig deeper. And without your communication, we can't dig deeper. And what will happen is someone will call us, let us know, we'll dig deeper and go, okay, I made a couple changes, you should start seeing a little bit better quality or something like that. So communication is key with us.
That's amazing. Go ahead, so and then the other thing I have a question is that most of us on the call, I would say, are old school final expense guys. We're not used to Facebook or digitally market leads, if you will. Mm-hmm. Is there any type of, on your website, is there any type of training, or maybe like templates as far as like is the phone script maybe a little, like, do we need to tweak the phone script a little bit? Or if I'm going to send a text, go ahead.
We don't have any canned texting. Like if you were to text the client back, normally I just say be real, just be yourself, and don't try to be salesy. Just literally, if you're going to text them, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I wouldn't text them until you've tried to contact them, 3 to 6 times. Then you might throw them a quick little text that simply just says, hey, this is John Smith. You contacted me on Facebook regarding the final expense benefits program, or whatever language we use in the script, and just reaching out to you. I know you're super busy. Let me know when is a good time for you. A lot of times they will respond back, which is really different. We're not really used to that as I've been doing it since 1996. I'm not used to that either. But once you start getting used to it, it's just have a normal conversation. You're a normal person, and that's the key with Facebook. The reason we work so well at this is a lot of the videos that the clients watch is just me being a normal guy in my house, explaining how final expense works, explaining why we need their contact information. I literally tell them, we need your contact information because we can't figure out if this program or plan or benefits, whatever I say, I forget at the time, is going to fit your needs and wants unless we learn a little bit about you. It's just the way it is. So a lot of people watch the entire video, which is a good thing, makes the leads a little bit better. In the sense of a phone script, every time you get an email with your leads in it, there'll be a phone script at the bottom of the email. It's very simple. It's just, I think hi, John, this is so-and-so. You contacted me on Facebook regarding the final expense benefits programs. I'm the local benefits coordinator. I'm going to be just like any other phone script, really short, really sweet. And you're all about just trying to get the appointment. And we use the keywords. So even though the ad they responded to may have said something like, don't make your family pay for your funeral, put a plan together, we can help you, blah, 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 it's still keywords: burial insurance, final expense benefits. And I always tell everybody, just do the final, just tell them you respond regarding the final expense benefits, because that's one of the keywords we use a lot, and most of them know that has to do with burial insurance and so forth. So it would be great if you could see the real ad they actually respond to, but it wouldn't change your success in any way, and it would be too difficult for us to go, this is the ad that responded off us. Also, we got a lot of proprietary information here that we don't want to share for obvious reasons. So, but the phone script is there on every single email.
All right, that's amazing. So the other question I have is for agents that want to order leads today, where can they go to order them? And then a follow-up question: how soon can you put together a like a landing page for our agency where I can just blast it out to, let's say, a couple hundred agents, where they can go and order leads?
So the affiliate website page, it's going to take about a week or two, simply because we are behind the ball a little bit with a bunch of other agencies. But but we will certainly get that together as quickly as, if that's something you want, we can put it together, not a problem. At this point, all they got to do is go up to osfelicemarketing.com. Now, one thing I will tell you is when you go to the website, if you don't see this button, use a different web browser or use your phone. I didn't realize with certain web browsers, the color doesn't show. So if you don't see the buy now button, it's not that you did something wrong. You just go to a different web browser, meaning use Safari, use Google Chrome, use Firefox, use something different, or MSN, whatever Internet Explorer one is, which I don't use. But if you don't see that, or you can actually use it, we found that doing it from your phone pops up even better. So all you'd have to do is just go to here, go to installment plan, click on it. That'll take you into the PayPal area. You don't have to pay with your PayPal account. I don't think it's going to let me do it because I'm already a PayPal user, but it says right here, no PayPal account, use your credit card. So it'll allow you to use your credit card, and you're going to go through the process of this. Once you're done with this, you'd have to go back to the website. So once you're done paying, which in about 2 weeks, and also when we get the affiliate page done for you, it'll be streamlined a lot easier, where the payment information and the campaign details information is all in one page, so it'll make it much simpler. But for now, you go back to the website, scroll all the way down right before the map, and go to send campaign details. Once that's done, you will get an email and also a phone call from one of our account managers, basically just introducing themselves, making sure that everything that you put on the campaign details form, if you will, is correct, and you'll start receiving leads probably today. We do have to wait for Facebook approval on the ads, which you might have saw some of the pop-ups here. That generally only takes a couple hours because we're kind of anyways, a good affiliate with Facebook, so we get a little bit more priority. I will tell you this: if you want to pump up for the holidays, Facebook is huge for the holidays. The reason being, you have to think of the emotional value of grandma and grandpa, whomever, or is sitting on the couch, and they're going through their Facebook thing, and they're either with their grandkids or they're not. Either way, they're still going through their Facebook. It's more of an emotional time. As we know, holidays are an emotional time. They actually, you will get more leads than normal during this time, which means more leads means even the people that say contact me after first are fine, but you're going to have enough leads to still sell the ones that are sellable. So it is a good thing to buy during the holidays. It's not like telemarketing. It's not like direct mail where it goes down, especially this time of year, because we got AEP and Medicare's mailing out a million things. This is a little bit different, where you're going to get, instead of getting 23 leads or 20 leads, let's just use that for now, you'd end up getting 25 or 26, simply because more people are on Facebook during this time than they are normally, and they're more emotional, which means you've got now a person who's responded but a little bit more emotionally involved because it's the holidays.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Awesome, man. This has been amazing. Jimmy, do you have any questions?
No, everything was covered really well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is
no, but I didn't have anything canned to say, so.
No, dude. You keep it real, brother. That's what I like, man. Is that you're just, you're not like a sales guy, salesy guy. You keep it real, and really looking forward to creating a great partnership with you, man. So I'm sure you're going to see a lot of orders for you. I'll send you over some information, so maybe in a couple of weeks we can get the affiliate page set up. And then that way we can just blast it out to all of our agents, or when we're onboarding people, we can just send them the affiliate page and they can order leads direct. Make it a nice, seamless process.
Yeah, and we're finding that a lot of guys are loving the fact that if they have a dip in their direct mail, we all know that sometimes with direct mail, they don't come in like they're supposed to, just for whatever crazy reason, is you jump on the website and you go, okay, I need 20 leads now. And you can get 20 leads now in a nutshell versus, and it happened. We just had a guy he's all like, can you give me 40 leads this week? My direct mail is like a week behind and I can't slow down. And so he ordered it, and he's getting the lead. So that also makes it nice when you want to integrate this with both of them.
You know, I said we're experiencing that now, a dip in direct mail. So what's so amazing about this is that it's the best of both worlds, man. I mean, you're getting a high quality lead, but you're also getting immediate gratification. You're not waiting 3, 4, sometimes 5. You know, for our West Coast people, they're waiting 5 weeks.
Oh yeah,
for direct mail leads.
I know that. Yeah.
So, man, this is incredible.
Good.
All right, man. Well, thank you.
We're here. We're here for you. If you guys need anything, just let me know. You can call us, text us. My phone number's on here. That's my text number. Or you can call me, or you can actually call the office and speak to Eva, one of our girls here, and that would be the number there. Or just put an order in, and we'll get you going.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for being on. We really appreciate it.
You got it. You guys have a great day. Let me know if you need anything. Bye now.
All right, man. Thanks, Thad.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Awesome. All right, man. Jimmy, are you ready to move on?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
That was pretty amazing, right? I'm excited. Let me find, let's see here. We're still going to have Christy on. Christy, hold tight. I'm just going to make you I'm going to unmute you first. Christy, are you there?
I'm here.
Great. Man, what'd you think about those Facebook leads? That's pretty cool, huh?
It's interesting.
Very interesting. What's cool is being able to get leads so quickly. You know, we're used to waiting 3, 4, sometimes even 5 weeks to receive leads. Well, with that, you take as much time as you want. I think I was talking to Jimmy, and I think that are you going to do a complete overview, or you just really want to focus on one product?
Well, I think we'll just kind of dive in. I'll just move through fairly quickly for you.
That's awesome. I think if you could really hit on, because I used to be partnered with Assurity. I had them about 9, 10 years ago when I first got into the insurance business. And I tell you, one product I sold the heck out of was the AxiFlex. I mean, I think that's like such a cool product. Will you be able to cover that today?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Let me make you the presenter, okay? Just give me 1 second. I'm going to send you, you should be getting an email. You just need to accept. Awesome.
You see it?
We can see your screen. I'm going to make it a full screen. All right, awesome. Christy, do me a favor. We really don't know each other. Jimmy, do you want to introduce Christy for everybody?
Sure. Well, I got the privilege of meeting Christy. Was it last week or the week before? time.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, and Christy came into San Antonio, did some training with some local agents here. Really sharp. I was, I guess you can say, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It amazed me that Christy is also licensed and does sell life insurance herself. So it's kind of cool. But, she did a really thorough job in San Antonio, and I asked her to come on to the national call and tell us about the AxiFlex product, which is really cool. And I think it'd be a great niche for us. So without further ado, Christy, I'll let you take over.
All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. And yeah, today we were going to, I'm going to go over our disability portfolio and then the AxiFlex product. They're two of our core products that we sell here. And, depending on the clients you're working with, I think you'll find someone that will fit for both of those products. So just to get a little background for you on Assurity and on our disability portfolio, I want to just kind of hit on. We have actually been in business now for 128 years, smaller mutual company based in Lincoln, Nebraska. Disability actually was the first product of the company that was sold. So if you think back then in the late 1800s, disability was important back then. And just with the differences of culture and everything, I think it really shows how disability is something that, despite what's going on, it still is something very important for you to have in your portfolio when you're working with clients. Now, our disability, the best things about it, I think, and this is me speaking as just a person, but then also working, and selling insurance, I like it to be just straightforward. Just tell me how it is. I like being able to add the bells and whistles, but I want to know, just give it to you straight. And what you can find out and calling in here, we're a very simple company. We have live people who answer the phone. If you call in today, people are going to be there. And we try to build these products and everything we do in our portfolio now, really thinking about the consumer and what their needs and wants are. So first thing I want you to think about, I know that the lead talk this morning actually I think was a great segue into my presentation today. So I want you to think about your own book of business. Think about people you met with last week. Think about the people you met with last year. They're all clients of yours. Now, one of the biggest things in this insurance business is being able to keep your clients, because just like on the previous presentation, talking about leads, they may think they need something else and they fill out something. What's to stop that agent from pulling that business from you? So I like to think about keeping up on your own book of business and how you can go back and sell a second or a third product to one of your clients. So as I go through this today, just think about someone that will fit in to different scenarios that you may have an opportunity with. So talking about disability insurance, the first thing most agents think about, and the consumers especially, when you talk about disability insurance, is they think about that handicap stall that you see in the front of the grocery store. And what we really try to do here is, yes, it is disability insurance. It's insurance that covers you if you were disabled. But what I really like to think about it is as income protection. So you think about, looking at the screen here, kind of the pyramid of your finances. There's a lot of different parts of it, things that fit in, things you have to purchase. But if you look at the bottom, the thing that makes all of that possible is you or your client's ability to actually earn an income. So this product will help for your clients if something were to happen, that if you have done a lot of work with them and you have helped them with other investments and other types of insurance, other family members, the best thing you can do is make sure that they're still earning their paycheck. That way they keep all those insurance benefits, because we know it has something important to them. So other times when I've had this discussion with consumers myself, we talk about replacing lost income. There's excuses. I think about, well, I have money in my savings account. Well, how long does that last? Other income. Can I get a loan from the bank? Can I ask my friends or other family members for money? And you think about that, sure, if you need $50, $100 here or there, yeah, you'll have a friend who will be able to help spot you, or a family member. But they're not going to do it for you every week. They're not going to do it for you every month. Going to a bank doesn't really work. If you tell them you're disabled and you're not earning an income, they're not going to give you a loan. The last one that I hear about a lot, and actually I heard this from my own father a few years ago, well, if something happens to me, I'll get on Social Security. Well, they don't understand, qualifying for Social Security or Social Security disability, that's a process. Social Security disability, as someone, you can't apply for the first time until after 6 months, and then usually 99% of the people, they're declined the first time. So it takes a while. So what do you do in that in between? So just think about that when you have someone that gives you a reason, because it is a reason, but sometimes it's us as agents that have to educate them on the reality of that. Now, this is interesting. Think about employees say they've never really thought about protecting their income from disability. And then consumers, 18%, have mentioned something to their agent. Now, I would say my estimate would be 3/4 of the ones of the consumers that actually mention disability insurance to their agents. The agents will refer them somewhere else because they don't know anything about disability. They don't know how to sell it. They're scared to sell it because it does have a lot more moving pieces than a life insurance policy. But again, go back to the reason. Now, interesting ways that I like to talk about this, and especially I find this works really well with young people. There are many things we do think about insuring. So protecting your income seems to be so far down on the list. But last week I was at Sprint. I got a new cell phone, and you know for sure I have that insurance plan on my cell phone. I'll pay $15 a month for an $800 cell phone insurance. If you go to Best Buy or Target, this next week, Black Friday sales, and you buy a new TV, you're probably going to buy the insurance plan on it, right? So we're okay protecting investments that have a value, $1,000 or less. But why are we thinking about insuring that $40,000 your customer might be making as their annual income? And sometimes I think, especially working with the millennial generations, I see it really being something that you have to just make them see it in a different way for them to understand why they should protect their income. So just a few things there I wanted to just hit on for you guys. So just give you ideas of how disability, does fit and why it does fit actually within what you are selling. And if anyone has any questions about disability, I definitely would love to later on set up a call with you too to kind of go over any questions you have specific on that.
Christy, could I ask just a real simple question, just real quick?
Sure.
How does it work with self-employed people? Let's say, for example, we've got a couple of agents on the call right now and say, you know what, I don't have disability insurance. I should totally have it. Is it available for someone that is self-employed? And then can you walk us through that real quick?
Yep, I actually will get to that here shortly. So just hold on for a few minutes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So our disability portfolio, as I mentioned earlier, we are big on, really connecting with the consumer and their actual needs. So we have 4 different products available. Our flagship product is the Century Plus. We do have a simplified, a business overhead, which fits really well with those self-employed people, and our graded benefit. That's going to be for the people that maybe have a few health conditions and can't qualify for a traditional DI. Just a little bit about how disability works. The way premiums are set up for this, when we think about life insurance, it's male, female, tobacco, non-tobacco, maybe a rating. With disability, we actually add in an occupation class. So your 4A occupations are going to be people like you on the call, people that work desk jobs, IT professionals, and you can see as the classes go down, the 3A, still maybe a little bit of that desk time, but a little more manual as well. And your 2As and your 1As are definitely going to be more of those manual labor types. So that's the way the breakdown goes. Obviously, someone who sits at a desk all day, their chances of becoming disabled, actuarial speaking, are a little bit less than someone who is out, working construction or, putting on new roofs. So our first product, our simplified DI, just the basics. I'm just going to hit on just the basics of these for you. Ages will go from 18 to 59. And we go age last birthday. So if they don't have a birthday coming in the next 6 months, it goes at that current age. Benefits up to $3,000. Elimination and benefit periods a little bit shorter here. We'll go up to a 2-year benefit period, which that's the time frame they actually would receive a benefit from us. This product is rate banded since it is a simplified product. So really easy, 3-page application. Once we have everything in, it's guaranteed 4 days, assuming obviously we don't need any additional requirements. So pretty easy app. So this is the one I think is really good. If you've never sold DI, it's a really good plan to start with. Now our Century Plus product, this is where you see a little more flexibility and ability and features to be able to customize something for the consumer. So Ages will actually go up to 60 on here. Limits will go actually up to $20,000. Benefit periods, you can see there, we actually offer options, 10-year, age 65 or 67. I'll say probably the most popular that we see is a 5 or a 10-year. The occupation classes, as we talked about. And then we also have riders available to really personalize. Now, the one thing about disability that I want to just kind of go over with you guys is how the definition works. So our plan is built in 2 years of occupation that you are doing. So if this was you as an insurance agent, as long as you were not able to do the main duties of your own occupation, this policy would pay. So pretty basics with that. Depending on age of the clients, we still will go up to $3,000 without needing any type of financials or medicals. And we also have some other upgrade options available that they can purchase along with these policies. So when I talk about being able to really personalize something for a client, this is where you can actually take features and specify them. One I like to point out is the own occupation rider. We talked about how the policy has that 2 years of your own occupation. This rider actually gives the opportunity to extend that true own occ definition up to the length of the benefit period. Now, I want to give you just a quick little scenario of something that actually happened here in Lincoln. We had a lady who worked as an ER nurse at the hospital. She was in a car accident and had some pretty extensive injuries with her spinal cord. She's fine from the aspect of she doesn't have any severe impacts or things from it. But being an ER nurse, one of the requirements is she needs to be able to easily lift 50 to 75 pounds. So you think about transferring patients. That's something she can't do anymore. She had one of these policies with its own occupation rider. So since she's not able to do that job as the ER nurse, we are paying the benefit of her policy. Now, the nice thing is, along with that, there's no stipulation in there that she cannot go out and work. She could do something else. She actually now is one of the top insurance agents in the state of Nebraska selling to people working in the medical field. They see it more than anyone else, and she has a story. So she's getting a disability payment from us on a monthly basis, and she's also earning a commission check. Take that story. It's a good one.
That's an awesome story.
So lots of other riders available, return of premium, residual, which is like a partial disability type of benefits. We have guaranteed insurability options. So if you have a client who buys a disability policy now and they're young, we think about 10, 15 years down the road, they'll be making more money. There's riders on there that, let them do that without having to give evidence of insurability again. So some great things and ways to be able to customize it and add features, to, take it, really change it to fit the needs of the client. I think that's one of the things that's really important with disability. A little bit of the underwriting. I always like to just mention this because that's the thing that scares agents away the most. So what we will look at income and health, just like we do on life insurance. Life insurance, obviously, we won't give someone $1 million policy if they're making $15,000 a year, if they do not have any other assets, of course. So we look at the same types of things when it comes to income and health, but we're also looking at their occupation, their job duties that they're actually doing to be able to classify them, and their work history. Now, the great thing about disability, too, is we have the ability, let's say you have a client who has a couple conditions, we may be able to exclude them. We may be able to add a rating on. Let's just say they were missing part of one of their feet. Depending on their job, we may be able to exclude that part of their foot and still have the policy. So there's a lot of different things that we can do and customize to be able to offer disability as well. Self-employed people. I tell you what, it's probably one of the most underserved markets for disability insurance out there. One thing we do is offer an occupation class upgrade. Now, each time you have a client that goes from, say, the 1A to the 2A, 2A to 3A, et cetera, you're looking at a pretty significant price drop. So it's always a good thing there, as long as they've been in business for at least 2 years, have an income, and own at least 10% of their business, we'll be able to offer that for them. Also, the nice thing is, being able to take occupation class that, like if someone is a 1A, being able to get them up where they can extend their benefits a little bit too. So we do have some of those features with the plan. We also do offer a multi-life discount. So if we have 3 or more policies that a group has, we'll be able to do a 15% discount on our Century Plus product, and we'll be able to do a 5% on our business overhead. So we really try to make this plan flexible for a business owner. Now, when it comes to business owners, this is, I would say, probably a very ideal client for a disability policy. And the one thing that I can tell you just from my own experience going out and selling to a business owner, they don't realize this most of the time until you tell them about kind of the double trouble situation. So if you think about, as a business owner, this is as yourself as an insurance agent, or maybe your friend down the road who owns a franchise fast food place, what happens if they don't have an income? Do they ever have to make a decision to pay the mortgage payment of their house for their family, or pay the mortgage or rent payment on the building for their business? It's one thing we don't think about. So if someone, becomes disabled, I'm self-employed, that's going to affect my income. It's also going to affect my family. But what I don't think about is I can't really split that money. And, is my business going to keep running? Is that money still going to come in? So there's a lot of things to think about there with disability. So I recommend any business owner you may work with, you sell them a personal plan that's covering their own paycheck, so what they take home, but you also sell them a business overhead plan that covers expenses for their business. Now, the great thing about a business plan, it'll cover every expense they potentially could have with the exception of the owner's salary. So we think about rent or mortgage payments, we think about, electricity, gas, water, garbage, anything. It covers everything. Covers salary of the employees of the company, again, all but that employee, that owner. So it covers a lot of things. And the greatest thing is it can be tax deductible. I mean, it makes it a wash for that business owner. So a little bit about the plan. It goes through the same underwriting and everything as our Century Plus. So it makes it really easy. If you write an application, you can do them both on the same one, and it goes through underwriting once, and they get 2 plans. It's great. Benefit amounts, we limit to $20,000. Now, the difference here, you're going to notice the elimination and benefit periods are going to be a little bit more limited. So we'll do a 1 or 2 year benefit period. Now, the reason for that, because I know there's at least one of you thinking, well, if it's that important, why are we have such low limits? Why are we, I know a business has expenses more than that. I think I'd want to have a benefit period longer than that if I become disabled. And what this plan really does is if you have, let's just say you have that client of yours who becomes disabled, what you see half the time happen to businesses that do not have a plan in place is their business becomes a fire sale item. People know that John Doe is disabled. We know he owns a business. So why not sneak in and make him an offer to buy his business at 50% of its value? If John Doe is hard up for money, he might take it. Now, if you think about John Doe or you've built up your business. You're building your business. As you build it, it keeps on growing in worth. You want to make sure if you were ever in this situation, you have time. So maybe John will get that offer at 50%. He can easily say no if he has these plans. He can put these in force, and it gives him, 1 or 2 years to decide, I'm not going to be able to go back to work. I need to sell the business. It gives him time to set things, time to set up the right offer, time to get the business in order. It gives them time to get things done. So that's the biggest thing I could say for a policy like this. And I think, as you build your own book of business through the years, it has a higher worth to you for sure. As I mentioned earlier, cost is tax deductible. If they deduct premiums paid, makes benefits taxable, of course. But it kind of washes it. So unless those rules change, just a great extra feature for the owner. So these are some things and questions just to think about when you're talking to that business owner. If you were to become disabled, how would they continue to pay personal expenses such as their mortgage? Maybe it is paying for that basketball league that their son or daughter is playing in this winter. Ask them about how their business will continue. Because they think, well, I'll just have, my spouse come in and take over. Well, do they already have a job or other things they're doing? How easy is that going to be to happen? Who will be in control of the business? If you bring someone else in to help out, if you're letting them work for you and do your work, they might want to make some changes too. Just think about, will you have to turn consumers away? I think that's one of the biggest ones, I think, for the smaller self-employed. I think about the plumbers, electricians, if you start turning away jobs, those clients, maybe you work with, new home developments, they're going to start going somewhere else. They're not going to come to you for your services anymore. And again, the last thing is, would you be forced to sell? Tell that story about, selling your business at 50% of its value. It makes you think for sure. So I want to just show you an example of how this would work for a self-employed client. As you can see here, we took someone with a $50,000 income, sold them a little under $3,000 of Century Plus. Again, lower amounts and benefits with his age, no medicals, no income required. We did the upgrade. So you can see just that upgrade there took us from $82.20 to $55.76. Now, once we go and add on that discount, because we've sold 2 other policies, maybe another employee gets a disability and the BOE, that price goes down to $47.40. That BOE policy we added on is another $40 a month. So if you look at that total premium, it ends up being $4.62 more for an additional $5,000 of benefit. And any of you ever have a situation and you want to walk through and work through some quotes on how to present this to, just let me know and I'm more than happy to help you.
Amazing.
So the last disability product I want to talk about, and we all have one of these consumers, you probably have talked to one in the last 2 weeks. You get excited, they want to buy insurance. Maybe they don't tell you the full story, though, of how they're not insurable. Or they have a health condition that was just diagnosed last week, all these things. And with our graded benefit DI, we want you to keep those apps. So this product is available, has limits a little bit less than our traditional DI, still set up the same as the occupation classes. The big difference is it pays on a graded scale the first 2 years, 35 or 70% for the second year. Now, things that I talk about this is traditionally conditions that would cause a decline for a regular insurance product, or think about for the clients you've already worked with on the life side, something that's caused a rating on a policy. So these are just some things that we run into. One thing I will tell you, because I get this question almost on a daily basis, a type 1 diabetic is not eligible for a traditional disability policy, but they would be eligible for a graded benefit. If you have someone who has a history of heart issues, is a tobacco user and is a little short for their weight, those are cases too that probably will fall into the graded benefit plan. Big difference, obviously, between life insurance and disability. We're underwriting mortality versus morbidity. But again, if you do have a policy that comes in on our Century Plus and we can't make an offer, we automatically will have the underwriter review it for the graded benefit, because we always like the idea of you going back with some type of an offer versus just a decline, because we know, that's the hardest sale to try to recover from or offer anything new for your client. So what I want to do now is just give you a few little ideas on disability, things that come up pretty commonly in the industry, that you may hear an objection or a question when you're meeting with a consumer. I don't expect you to memorize these or anything, and again, more than happy to go over with these with you at any time. So the biggest one, I think, is that false sense of security. And right now we're getting into that time of the year where open enrollments are going on. People are re-enrolling in benefits their employer offers. And the biggest one we get is, so you have DI through your employer, who pays the premium. What I see there, if the employee pays the premium, the benefits are tax-free, but if the employer pays it, the benefits are taxable. If you do run into a situation where the employer does pay it, that usually means they're going to get after taxes, about 40%. So there's still a big chunk of their income, and we can sell something in addition to that. The other big thing is the consumer's actual understanding of disability. There are short-term disability plans, and there are long-term disability plans. A lot of companies may offer a group short-term, but maybe they don't offer a long-term. And I also like to look at the definitions of disability, because some of them can be pretty crazy. I've seen ones where it might be they have just on the job coverage. So what happens when they leave and they go outside, and I'm up here in Lincoln, Nebraska, tomorrow it's supposed to be snowy, 30-mile-per-hour winds. What happens if that person goes out and slips on the sidewalk and breaks their back? If it's only on the job coverage, they don't have any type of disability. The other thing I like to look at is kind of reverse discrimination, as I like to refer to it, caps on benefits. So most group plans will have a cap on the max benefit. So I think about that person who maybe is in a leadership role, an executive role, they're making a lot more. So they actually think their benefits go based on their salary, but it's actually maxed at $5,000. The other thing is someone who is on a commission salary or bonus. A lot of times those jobs will have very low base salaries because they do have such a huge opportunity to earn commissions or bonuses on any sales results or how their company does. So any type of plan they have through work is just going to cover just that base salary. And the last thing, and this is something I can say honestly, you're seeing less of in the disability, group insurance versus worksite insurance. Group plans are not portable. So if I leave an employer and I had insurance, I can't take that with me. Now the new company may have that, but if I don't start for another 2 weeks, that's 2 weeks I'm endangered. Worksite policies, a lot of times those do have the opportunity to actually carry it, take over payments of the coverage and carry that with you. But again, you got to think about all the other things there. What are the limits, et cetera, and how that plan is set up. The best thing I think really is, showing those features for the insured. So just as we talked about changing jobs, definitions, et cetera. The other market I talk about, and this is becoming a little more prevalent now with all the changes with state and government benefits, is knowing about the gaps. So there are short-term and long-term with most city, state, county, government, federal jobs, but there are some gaps. So there's one gap, year one for FERS, which is the federal, won't pay your disability is not expected to last 12 months. Second part of that will replace 40% of your pre-disability income. So we still have gaps. But a lot of times, I know I've heard this for a long time. I have a lot of family members that work for state or government type agencies. They think the benefits they have there are just the best thing since sliced bread, and we know they're not. But it's up to you to be able to show them where those gaps are. The biggest things then I hear too, you think about the things you hear that sound too good to be true. And it's going to be just very important for you to talk with the clients and reassure them. You know, if you're working with the state or government, ask to take a look at their benefit booklet. You know, you'll be able to help point out some of those things for them and go over those benefits. I think that's really important to help them understand that, which is going to give them more confidence in working with you. The last market, you know, I've hit on a couple times today, the millennials. So this is a big question, I think. And I see this now just here at Assurity. You know, the average college graduate rarely will have consistent insurance. Now, why is that? They're going to switch jobs probably 7 times before they finally settle down into a career. Now, the 7 times, it may be 1 year here, 2 years here, 6 months there, 5 years here. You know, so it's going to be variable. It's going to change, but they're never going to have consistent insurance. Now, the great thing, too, is that they're young, they're healthy, it's easy for you to write, but they also think they're invincible. You know, nothing will happen to me. I'm too young. I don't need to think about disability. I like to sell disability for millennials offering the return of premium rider. So if you have someone who is 35, once they've had the policy for 25 years, they're able to get 100% of their premiums back. Hey, I understand that. I feel like I'm invincible too. So let's just use this as another form of a savings account for you. That way, when you're 60 years old, you'll get a chunk of money, help you towards your retirement. So, and just an idea on premium for these ones, you can see it's pretty cheap. Under $30 a month. For these cases, we do have a pre-screen checklist that really knocks down the income and health history and interviews that may need to be done. So that's something I will definitely get over to Jimmy to share with you guys too. I think it's just an important part of educating your clients when they may need to do something. So the last thing I want to talk about is, and you guys have had this happen, I'm sure, whether it's on the life insurance side or any other, you spend a lot of time with the client, it seems to be a great deal, and then it comes back and they get declined. And you think about, we just spent 2 weeks going, you know, it took me 2 weeks to get that client to do this application. You know, I've worked on other things. I've talked to the home office 30 times. They did a phone interview. It's all these things, and then we have nothing. Maybe if it is a final expense type product, you've looked at other resources and well, this one's guaranteed issue, but the premiums are way up here for that benefit I want. Well, the great news is we have AxiFlex. This is a very simple product, up to age 60, benefits up to $350,000, and the way this works is it's accident only. So accidental death or accidental disability. Now, the great thing about it is it has a return of premium on it. Great rider to have on a policy that covers only accident. You know, things I really like about this product is it pretty much is a guaranteed issue. We have one health question on the application regarding HIV or AIDS. Does not matter how they answer it, we still will accept them. So as long as they fit in the age requirements, they can get the policy. Now, what I've started to do with any sales I make myself, if I have a client I've worked with, and maybe it's taken a while, if I come back to them just with that decline, that's going to hurt my ability to get a sale from them or get any type of a lead from them of another family member or friend I can talk to. But if I come back and say, you know, ABC Insurance Company, Unfortunately, it didn't make us an offer, but we do have an offer here from Assurity for an AxiFlex. We're giving them something. And the premiums are fairly cheap on this as well. Now, the other thing we see with disability insurance, if you're someone who is declined, they can get this plan and use that disability rider too. It's smaller benefit, only $1,800 available, but it's something. Something's always better than nothing. The last place I see this used on is going to be for that person who tells you, well, I want $1 million of insurance, and then they get sticker shock when you show them what the premium is. It's a great way to kind of help transition them to that higher premium. Go ahead and sell them an AxiFlex to cover $350,000 of that $1 million they're wanting, and help them stair-step their way to that higher premium through time. So pretty easy app. We have a same-day service guarantee on e-applications that are in by 1 p.m. So if you did an e-application right now, I would say it's going to take you probably 5 minutes. You do it through the e-application, you're already set up with us. Policy is going to be in the mail to you before 5 o'clock tonight. So very quick turnaround, 2 days. If it comes in after that, it would wait till Monday since we are at a weekend. Paper application, those are guaranteed in 2 days. So very, very quick application, very, very quick process, very, very quick issue. So again, this is the product I use for the something is better than nothing, and for those who want the Cadillac but can only afford the Chevy. So with that, that's all I have for you guys. Myself and then Doug Bador, we're the sales team working with your insurance group, and we're here to help you guys any way we can. That's our contact info. You're more than welcome to reach out to us or reach out to your teams there, and we can get in contact with you and help out with any type of trainings or client situations, anything you're working with.
Awesome. Nice job, Christy. This has really been an eye-opener. I do have just one really quick question on the AxiFlex. I saw that it was available, the ROP was available on that product. Just what's the, just real quick, if you know off the top of your head, what's the age on that? What age do you have to be in order to be eligible for ROP? I think
it'll be 45 or under.
45 or under to get the ROP. Okay. And then since it's renewable to age 85, is the ROP paid out then at age 75?
Yep, it will be. So if let's just say your client, you sell it to a 40-year-old, and after 20 years, they decide then at age 60, they're done. You'll see if you run a quote, there'll be a schedule in there, but the policy will have a schedule too that assuming no changes made, at age 60, this is how much the consumer would get back. So there'll be a schedule in there that will show where, what dollar amount they would get on each year.
Okay. And how long on the AxiFlex? So the accidental death benefit, they could cover up to age 75, but for the disability, when does the rider drop off for the accidental disability on the product?
It stays to age 75 since it's accident only. Of course, that means they have to be employed full time though.
Yeah. Okay. So they would have to have, as long as they had a job. So let's say if, we have a client that is working into their, past retirement age 65, and they fall down and get hurt, as long as they were not on Social Security only, let's say they had a job, then they would be eligible for a benefit.
Yep. And in order to have disability benefits like this or standalone products, the client has to be considered a full-time employee. So if you have a client, retires at 65 and then they go to be working part-time and they had this plan, I probably would call in and just get that rider removed because it wouldn't pay anymore.
Got it. Okay. All right. Excellent. Great information. Really sincerely appreciate you taking the time to be on the call. Jimmy had to drop off because he's doing
the other call.
Yeah, he's got a tax strategy presentation he's making. So thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for being on today. Okay.
Yes, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, we're excited. We will talk to you soon. Thanks, Christy.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, everybody. Everybody hung in there, man. We only had one or two people drop off the call. So with that, everybody, thank you so much for participating on the call today. I hope I know we went long, but I hope the information was helpful. And if you're interested in ordering those Facebook leads, let me know. I can send you over the link to Thad's website, or you can just if you caught that on the on his presentation, you can just Google it and go right to the landing page and go ahead and order those. God bless everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving. If I don't get a chance to talk to you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.